What's up, everyone? The new system update dropped on November 24th, 2025, and it's a small but important one, version 21.0.1. All right, so let me walk you through what matters here in plain terms. This patch is one of those behind-the-scenes fixes that doesn't add flashy new features, but plugs some real annoyances that were affecting people's setups, especially anyone trying to move their data between an original Switch and the new Switch 2, and a chunk of users who were seeing weird Bluetooth or controller connection problems after the system woke up or when toggling airplane mode. On the system transfer side, Nintendo explicitly addressed a pair of error codes that could make a local transfer fail repeatedly. If you ever saw error code 2011-0301 or 2168-0002 during a transfer, that exact situation is named in the official notes as being fixed. Now, the Bluetooth/controller reconnection issue is particularly interesting because it's the kind of bug that sneaks up on people. Imagine finishing a game, putting the console into sleep mode, coming back later, and suddenly your Joy-Cons or Pro Controller won't reconnect without fiddling or rebooting. That's the symptom a number of users were reporting after the previous update. Nintendo's notes call this out and say the reconnection problem has been fixed on Switch 2 hardware, which should at least stop the sleep or airplane mode triggered dropouts for most people. There are community threads that show how widespread the annoyance felt, so you can see why Nintendo prioritized this quick follow-up. Beyond those two concrete items, the patch also includes the boilerplate line about general system stability improvements. I know that phrase doesn't mean much on its own, but in practice it often covers smaller under-the-hood tweaks, timing adjustments, corner case fixes, and stability hardening that doesn't merit its own bullet, but reduces random crashes or edge case failures. When developers ship a small, targeted update like this right after a larger release, it usually means they saw enough user reports to justify fixing a few specific regressions quickly, rather than waiting for a bigger cumulative update. The official Nintendo support entry lists the transfer fix and the stability improvements as the public-facing summary, which tracks with how manufacturers typically handle post-release teething issues. There's also been chatter in the broader press and on community boards about other side effects from prior updates. Remember the changes a couple of weeks ago that adjusted home menu icons and download behavior? Some users reported third-party dock compatibility problems after that earlier release, and outlets picked up on that discussion, because a dock that suddenly stops outputting to TV is a major workflow break for people with multiple setups. The current patch doesn't explicitly mention dock fixes, and Nintendo hasn't made a specific note about third-party docking stations in the 21.0.1 release notes, so if you're someone who relies on alternative docks and you had trouble before, keep an eye on those community threads for real-world confirmation. Let me be frank about risk versus reward here. Patches that fix transfer errors are high priority for folks moving data between hardware generations. Those are the people most likely to be blocked from getting up and running. Bluetooth reconnection fixes are medium-high priority because they affect daily usage and can be super annoying even if they don't brick anything. So even though this update doesn't have a flashy feature list, it's the kind of quality-of-life fix that reduces friction for specific but important scenarios. The official support documentation and major outlets covering the release all emphasize the transfer fix as the headline. That tells you Nintendo wanted to make sure folks moving accounts and saves don't get hung up by previously reported errors from a creator perspective, because I know a lot of you are either documenting your own transfers or reporting issues to your audience. This is exactly the sort of update where showing a brief before and after test on camera can be useful. For viewers who had a transfer fail repeatedly or who saw controllers not reconnect after sleep, a short clip showing a successful transfer in a controller reconnect test post-update validates the claim better than quoting patch notes alone. There's definite value in demonstrating the fix in practice. The patch notes tell you what was addressed, but real-world confirmation helps people trust that their particular setup behaves as expected. The community responses and threads that bubbled up after the earlier update were the likely catalyst for this rapid follow-up, and you can see the timeline of complaint to fix reflected in the coverage. On the technical side, fixes for error codes during local transfers usually involve tightening the handshake or improving error recovery when two consoles exchange large amounts of data over a short-range wireless link. Those error codes aren't random numbers. They point to specific failure modes, whether it's a timeout, a data verification issue, or a sequence mismatch. The Bluetooth reconnection fix, meanwhile, tends to be about ensuring the Bluetooth stack properly resumes discovery and re-authenticates paired devices when the system transitions out of low-power states or toggles networking settings. Those are the sorts of invisible changes software engineers push in micro-updates like this. The user visible result is fewer forced restarts and fewer aborted transfers, and that's exactly what the patch notes promise. So yeah, that's the scoop. A focused release that mends a painful transfer bug and smooths over sleep-related wireless hiccups with the usual stability refinements tucked in. If you want the official wording, Nintendo's support page lists the change to fix those error codes during local transfers and mentions general system stability improvements. And the update is dated November 24th, 2025, which is the key callout for anyone tracking the rollout.